Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do something different. Until recently, I had never edited any of my videos. Recently, I just found out how to kind of cut things out, combine clips, just little basic things like that. I figured out how to add text to a video, and so in learning that, I was able to figure out how to put a video together with you guys showing how I make some of my resin pieces. So if you watch my videos, you will have seen little popsicle charms. You haven't seen them yet, but I've also done some leaf charms. And today we are going to make some Halloween themed ones. So all that I use is silicone mold. Again, this is a brand new one. I am actually done with my Halloween crafting for swaps and things like that. But I just got this mold in. I'm really excited to use it. I'm really excited to just get some little embellishments together and have them on hand for next year, and just in the process be able to show you guys how I make my own charms. So again, as long as you have a mold, you can do any theme, any holiday. So these are just going to be one color, not blending, not mixing additional colors for this particular project. I have done that in the past, but just for this, it's going to be a basic, easy resin video, and we are going to turn these into charms. First of all, should have started the video with this. You need to look up resin safety. Resin is very fun. It can also be dangerous. You're mixing chemicals. So again, there are a lot of videos on YouTube that you can search to get that information. Just very briefly, if you're a newbie, and 100% wear a respirator. I am not going to be wearing one today. I do have one. I will link the respirator and the filters that I use below. You don't have to get this particular kind, just anything for vapors. You want them for vapors. Again, for the purpose of this video, I don't know how to do voiceovers, so I will not be wearing a mask, but anytime that I've ever done resin, once I started looking into the risk associated with resin, I've always used a mask. So, disclaimer, use a mask. Look up safety regarding resin. So we have our mold. We went over safety very briefly. My stick, I have a toothpick, I have my measuring cup. Again, this is not going to be an in-depth video of what I've learned about resin. They do have silicone pieces that you can use to mix that will reduce your bubbles. Again, if you guys want me to go into more detail about specifics of resin that I've learned, I've been doing it for about a year. Definitely not a professional, but I have learned things along the way. This is just, let's craft some resin pieces. So I have these to mix and measure. I have my powder. You can use loose eyeshadow powder. I've used regular eyeshadow before and just kind of crumbled it up and poured it in my resin. I will say that regular eyeshadow, whatever they use to pack it, it's not always the easiest to mix in. Sometimes you can be left with clumps. I have this also because I want a deeper black color. I'm going to use a little bit of paint, just basic Walmart paint. And this is the resin that I use. So again, different types of resin. Some you measure by weight, some you measure by volume. So I think that's it. I think what we're going to do first, we will mix it up. The basic resin. So I mix and put all this off to the side. This particular resin we measure by volume. So here's my measuring cup. I'm not going to be able to angle it so you guys can see, but I'm going to pour 15 cc's of one of them and then 15 cc's of the other, and I will be right back. We are back with our resin. Again, assuming that I fast forward through that to show you, it looks pretty simple to pour these out, but they can get sticky, messy. That's what most of the staining and stuff on my mat is from spills. So again, that learning how to pour comes with practice. So again, another reason to wear gloves when you first start. So this, especially if you're going to be doing a clear coat, you want to try to keep your bubbles to a minimum. I am not as slow at this as I should be. Again, you can use a silicone stir to reduce some of your bubbles. You don't want to lift it up like I just did. you're just introducing more bubbles. Again, because I am doing this in a dark color, I'm not as worried about it. But that is something to keep in mind. And each brand, each company for your resin will have a different mixing time. I've kind of just learned, again, doing this for as long as I have, what it's kind of supposed to look like when it's ready. You do want to make sure you measure and mix very carefully or your pieces will not sit up right. So I'm going to mix this up and I will be right back. Alrighty guys, we are back. So again, I did fast forward through that, but I wasn't very patient with it. You want to mix it slow, reduce your bubbles. I can tell, hopefully you guys can tell too, it went from being kind of divided to this like milky color, and then now it is basically clear. I just want to mix it until there are no more streaks throughout, and we are definitely there. So again, if you add too much either mica or paint, some people use alcohol ink, I think is what they call it. If you use any of that, it will mess with your curing. So you want to do it as little as possible. This, we have 30 mils, so I'm going to do 2 drops of just this jet black paint. We will start with that, and then here is the mica I'm going to use. I got this off of Amazon. It came in a big old bundle. I can link the bundle below that I bought, but there are so many different colors you can get, color combinations. I just wanted kind of a basic package to see what colors I actually went through before purchasing any large ones. So again, this I've practiced doing this. It can get pretty messy adding your mica in there, and I'm going to add too much. So they do have little scoops. You can use your toothpick. You can use, a little spoon to kind of get that out a little bit more slowly. And so as you can see, it is much more gray than black, but you can see how much I've mixed. It still hasn't gotten all the way to the bottom yet. So, and again, I am mixing probably way too fast, but it works for me. And so the paint is matte, but then the mica has this really pretty like shine to it. So there's that. And you can add more mica, you can add more paint. I'm kind of considering a little bit more paint. I think I'll put one more drop in there. There we go. And again, don't be getting too crazy with your add-ins, or else your project will not set up correctly. I'm okay with this color, so I'm going to clean this off. Toss that. And we can bring in our mold. So what we're going to do, as you can see with the bats, it's all one layer, but with the spiders, we have the legs. So I don't want it to go like any higher up than the outline of the spider. I just want these to be really thin embellishments that we can turn into charms. So it's actually not going to take very much resin to fill these at all. So what I do for these bats, again with practice, I am just going to pour a little bit in there just to get a nice flat layer. So I'm going to do that for all of these bats. Hopefully you guys can see. And again, use your wooden spoon if you're not used to handling resin. Use a silicone spoon. I've just gotten plenty of practice over the last year, so, and I still mess up. It's very likely that you're going to see me make a big mess in this video. If that does happen, I will keep it in just because it can happen anytime. And I will mention again, there's definitely an odor that I'm not used to smelling because for so long I have used my mask anytime I've worked with this. Keep pets and children away. The fumes can affect them as well. Plus I've heard horrible stories about people, you know, their cats jumping on their work while it's curing, you know, try to clean themselves, lick them off, and end up passing away. So for these, again, because we have these littler spaces, I'm just going to take my toothpick, kind of roll some product on there, and then just kind of push it into where I want it. Okay. Again, a little bit more. And again, this will not take very much product at all because we just want these to be nice, flat little embellishments. So I'm going to fast forward through this and I will be right back. So we have these filled, and as you can see, I got kind of sloppy here on the edges, but what you can do if it looks like it's getting too close is just kind of wipe it up. If it stays kind of up here, it's not going to bother your mold, but if it wants to drip down, it can kind of deform it a little bit. So I just kind of wipe that off on the side of the mold, because you will be able to just peel that off later. So you can see all of our bats are filled in, all of our spiders are filled in. You can see over here, this has kind of went down kind of far. So we have that. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to cover these. I don't want any dirt or dust to get on them. Turn them into charms. So stay tuned. I do want to mention that I only used about 20 cc's of resin. So I would still have a little less than 10 right here. So I'm just going to go through, find some random little molds so I can use up this resin. And we will come back tomorrow and see what they look like. Alrighty guys, so we are back. It is about 24 hours later and we are going to finish these pieces. So here it is. Most resins take about 24 hours before you can unmold them. So here is our little bat. So I'm just going to take these out and then we will go over everything else we're going to need to turn these into charms. Alrighty guys, so we have all of our pieces here. And you will see that some will probably need to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. And for this, I just take regular old scissors, not completely set yet. So you can just snip off little pieces if needed. But before we start on these, I just wanted to show you guys some that I have made previously, just to show all different themes you can do. So in different ways that you can turn them into charms. So you can always just leave them flat as little embellishments, of course. You have the option of these. These are called eye screws. You can get them in all different kinds of hole sizes. I just take my little hand drill, and I got this off of AliExpress. It's one of the first things I ever bought there. If the one that I purchased is still available, I will link it below. But I just kind of screw this in a little ways, unscrew it, and then take my eye screw and just screw it all the way until it is flush. And then I would unscrew it, dip it into some wet glue, and screw it back in, and then it is not going anywhere. So this is one option. I did it the same for this off to the side. So then these are ready to be charms. You can also do it like this. And with these leaves, what I did is I just drilled all the way through the piece and attached a jump ring. This is probably my favorite way to do it. And again, I just use that same drill. So these are some of the leaf pieces I've made recently. And then you have some pieces that have just kind of a little natural place where you can just hook a jump ring and good to go. These are wide enough to where I could do an eye screw. Same way, I would kind of screw this in a little ways and then just add my eye screw. What you want to do is just make sure that your piece is wide enough. Like these are pretty wide to where you can have a sturdy spot to screw, but you also won't see it in the front of your resin. So some of these pieces are a little thinner. That's why this absolutely would not work. Way too thin to attach an eye screw. Some people also use like clear bales. Bales come in different kind of finishes as well. But today we are going to just screw through all of these. I will do one in real time with you guys. And you can decide where you want it on your spider. If you want him to hang upside down like that, right side up. The same with your bats. You can decide if you want to go right in the middle. And this is actually wide enough to where you could probably do an eye screw if you wanted. Definitely, but I think for mine, I'm just going to go here off to the side, one side or another, just that way, or even right here. That way it just kind of hangs a little bit different than just up and down. So we will do the spider. Just decide where you want it. I just get it going. Okay. And we're just going to drill it all the way through. Once I get going, and you can see this is still flexible. It'll take a little bit longer for it to fully cure, but this is actually really good because then you have less chance of cracking or anything kind of breaking if it was fully cured. It's probably gonna be hard for you guys to see this, but okay. As you can see, we definitely got all the way through. And so here it is. And then I just kind of turn it and push it back and forth. We want to make this hole a little bit bigger just so nothing gets caught up when we try to add our jump ring. So you can see it's a nice hole there. Just a couple of times, kind of in and out. Just to open that up, you can turn it around. Do the same. Again. We're just going to open this up just so it's a nice size for our jump ring. So I also have my jewelry pliers here and some jump rings. And that should work. I'll open this up. Stick it through. And bring it around. And there you go, guys. You have made your own little dangly charm. And again, with any kind of mold, this particular mold, most of my molds I get either from AliExpress or Joann's. That's where I got this one. But here you go. So what I will do is I will speed this up. I will do the same process with all of these pieces, and then I will come back and show you what we are left with. What else?
Two beds. Two beds.
And what's this?
There.
Alright, let's go.
Love you. So, I finished all the drilling and I'm just coming back on to show you guys. I'm guessing that this hole is going to be too small for this width of jump ring. And it is. And so just, you know, if that happens, when that happens, you're just going to take it and just open your holes up a little bit more. Again, just twisting back and forth to make that hole a little bit bigger. You can use a bigger drill bit and it would make this process go by a little quicker. But we should try it now. And there we go. So we're just going to hook these. I'm just going to twist these together. There you go, guys. Another little handmade charm. And here we are, just some homemade charms. I did cut out a bit of the process of doing this. Is just a bunch of the same and it was getting a little long, so didn't want to share. I will have better pictures of this and probably pictures of them actually hanging on my Instagram. That's at Laura V Crafty over there. This one you guys would have seen through the sped up process that I did do one with it in the middle just to show you that that could be done. But yeah, here we go. And like I said, any kind of mold, you can make any kind of theme. I will be making ones for Christmas. If there's any other things you guys want to see me make as far as resin, just besides, you know, more charms in the future, go ahead and let me know. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.